All right. Yes, yes, yes. So we back, y'all. We black. And I'm feeling good today. Today is February 9th. And our pages today are 11 through 15 of Collective Courage. Today we'll be getting into some of the benefits of cooperatives. Um, what's some highlights that you guys have been gaining from this book club so far? If you gonna speak, go ahead and speak. If not, make sure you're on mute. I don't know if he was trying to say something, Kyle. But yeah, um, just keep that in mind as we keep going. Like, what are some things that you've been learning that you feel inspired by? Peace to folks on the chat on Insta. Just so you know, we live on Zoom right now, and if you want to be tapped into the Zoom, go ahead and send us a DM. I'll make sure to send the invite to you. That's usually where we're gonna go. I'm just on live right now on Insta just to kind of keep the flow going. I know folks expect us to be on there sometimes. So I want to start with, oh, what's up to my brother? Is Tut in the building? Yeah, yeah. Go ahead and say what's up to the people. That's our co-host today, brother Kingdom. How you doing today, bro?
Yo, 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 what's up, family? It's good to see everybody in here. What's up, brother Osgod?
Yes, yes. What's happening, man? It's
You
good to
know,
see you.
man, always good to see you, man. The book club has been so inspiring, brother. Sparking a lot of conversation. So looking forward to getting into it some more, man, today. Let's do it.
So I wanted to start it off with some of the breakdown of Jackson Rising, of their four strategies, or excuse me, four parts of their strategy that they wanted to implement. Um, and just so we can get some, remember, we're looking at Jackson Rising as a current example of a cooperative that's still active, that's still building. They set out a plan, they wrote out a whole plan called the Jackson Kush Plan. They spent time to clarify their needs and how they wanted to strategize to achieve those things. So that's why I pull from this. Feel free to grab that book. Most of our reading is going to be from Collective Courage. But if you want to go deeper into collective organizing and collective economics, Jackson Rising is a great book. So on page 15 of Jackson Rising, it says, to fully grasp our program and strategy, it is critical to understand what Cooperation Jackson is on a structural basis. Cooperation Jackson is the sum total of four interconnected and interdependent institutions, right? So they broke down basically four parts of their plan into institutions that they're going to operate in cohesion with each other, but each having their own purpose, right? So, one, a federation of emerging local cooperatives and mutual aid networks. That's what we do with Repair Nations. You guys are a part of our mutual aid network. You guys are a part of this cooperative network. You guys are coming in under as students, if you will, and I know some of us are more um, understanding of what cooperatives are than others, but we're all coming in to learn, and being a student is a part of the trajectory of being a part of cooperatives. Like, you have to be a continual student. Um, so I resonate with that first one. Number two, a cooperative incubator, and to go a little bit deeper, the incubator is the startup training and development center of Cooperation Jackson. The incubator aids new cooperators with basic training, feasibility studies, business plan development, financing, training, and democratic management. So that sounds like exactly what we're doing over here with our work-based learning program that Brother Tut is leading. He has some interns that he's leading through a curriculum, teaching them about cooperatives. Natalie said, "Where are we based?" We are based in Oakland, California. Yay! And Peace to Word Slinger in the chat. Um, yes, we are doing the same thing with our work-based learning program, and we're showing folks how to understand these concepts in real time, or helping them understand it in real time. And then they take what they learn, and later on in the year they actually intern for cooperative. So we got a chance to go through that last year. My cooperative is Raw Soul Collective, and we were able to get an intern to help us with some video content, as well as some other things. So it was very beneficial, and we created a relationship out of that we now continue with Sister Beatrice. So, um, okay, folks are saying there's no sound on the Insta. I'm not quite sure what that is, but we'll I'll have to figure that out a little later. So let's keep going. Number 3, a cooperative school and training center. The primary purpose of our economic democracy school is to ensure that Cooperation Jackson serves as an instrument of social transformation by constantly broadening the social consciousness of all its cooperators. Right? So that school is very important. Um, Education is very important. It's kind of emphasized twice, right? They have a work based learning program that they're calling the incubator, and then they have a training center where they go into. It seems like they split up the learning and the working into two different sites. And then you have 4, a cooperative credit union and bank. Now that's something that we're building towards as we learn more about economic cooperative, uh, working together cooperatively. Banks allow for that those resources to circulate and stay in the community, right? So that's very important to help generate the knowledge base and the people to be involved. And then once economics start changing, then you can get to a point of putting that into a bank that could help house that dough to give out loans. A bank that works for the people, not a predatory, extractive bank, right? There's a difference. Um, so I just wanted to read that. And then I also wanted to highlight a page from Collective Courage that we started to read I think it was yesterday, from page 10, just a small paragraph. Cooperatives are not just economic enterprises, they are also relatively homogeneous associations of people who have come together to address a common need or want, which reduces to a minimum potential frictions and suspicions within the aggregate. This is by a person named Emelianov, so somebody who is quoted many times in his book. Traditional neoclassical societies lacks a theory of democratic or social enterprise because the firm is seen as a technologically specified black ox, or from the institutional viewpoint as a piece of property, a capital asset, not a community of work qualifying for democracy. So basically, what that means to me is that cooperatives, we talked about cooperatives having a social lean or an economic lean, um, and meaning that some focus more on the economics than the social side, and the cultural side. But they're both important. But I think there's a pathway that you might want to take based on where you want to go with your cooperative. And the old guard is using business as a means of owning and extracting, while they're saying, look, that's not what this is. Cooperatives are not just for extracting, or not for extracting. What they are for is to build a community and rise up together. And how they describe the old guard is, it sounded like slavery, right? Like chattel slavery, black ox is how they referred to it. I think that was a very key term. I don't know who Emelianov is, but we were the black oxen, of the past, in terms of how much we gave to this country and how much we were used as something for the land to till and property. And so that extraction of our time and resources, blood, sweat, and tears, uh, we're countering that by taking that and determining where our blood, sweat, tears, energy, and time is going, and putting that into a community base. Brother Ted, you had something you want to say?
Yeah, just adding on to that comment from that quote, and we move over to page 13, not to skip, just to show this quote. A few sentences in page 13, it says, cooperatives, quote, aggregate the market power of people who on their own could achieve little or nothing. And in doing so, they provide ways out of poverty and powerlessness. Okay, so kind of giving the solution of what Brother Osgod was pointing out, the opportunity that presents itself when we organize under the cooperative banner, being people who has experienced chattel slavery, who has experienced the dope pandemic, who has experienced the trauma of coming out of slavery. Why it's so beneficial for the whole, for us to individually and sometimes collectively, when we grow to that point, to come together as a cooperative. It was built to do such things as putting those who are powerless into powerful positions. Okay. So I just wanted to add that more to that quote that you were saying that, yeah, that's the flip side of it. People look at traditional ways of doing business as how to pull my own pull my own bootstraps up, pull myself up by my own bootstraps. Where co-op is, we pull each other up by the same bootstrap. We pull each other's up by our bootstraps. So yeah, that's just another quote. This section is very powerful. Also wanted to, give sight to anybody in the work-based learning program who might have read the pages as well, to comment as well on what Brother Osgod was pointing out. But that was a great reference, brother. And I want to add light to like why cooperatives then, because it was created to pull those from the bottom to somewhat to powerful positions.
Thank you for that, brother. So we're gonna get deeper into the advantages of cooperative. So let's go ahead to page. Let me make sure I got that right. 11. Yeah. So right where it says the cooperative advantage. Peace to those in the Insta chat. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. I don't know if you can hear me. I heard the sound was off. So we live on Insta and Zoom right now. So just wanted to make sure we covered all our bases. All right. So Spear sums up the current understanding of the economic and social advantages of cooperatives. The associative nature of cooperatives and their tight connections with community provide a uniquely favorable basis for the utilization of social capital, its reproduction and accumulation. This attracts non-traditional resources, reduces cost of ownership, provides a network of reciprocal and trust relationships which reduce asymmetric information and opportunistic behavior, and allows more efficient economic exchanges and activities. Cooperatives address market failure, asymmetric information, distrust of opportunism, excessive market power, and barriers to entry. All right, so let's break that down a little bit. So, um, non-traditional resources. When we talk about assets in the community, a lot of when our communities are assessed, they're usually assessed based on the value of what is assessed is based on who's assessing, is what I'm trying to say. So what we determine as valuable may not be valuable to a developer. They might want to come in and they might just value a space because they want to see that space be built upon to make high rise condominiums. While we might see value in a space because that might be an urban garden, that might be a cultural space to do cultural celebrations and season change commemorations, like tapping into our ancestors. Many cultural representations can be used in a space that may look empty most of the week, but it gets activated once a week. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Acoma Market. That's Liberation Park. That was something that is being used more and more often. And it looks like it's activated when you drive by. It's artwork all over the place, and a lot of work went into that. For those that know, in Oakland, uh, it was empty for a long time. Um, so we saw value in it, and we infused our value, and we draw value from that. That has nothing to do with development of housing. Not that we don't need housing, but we also need spaces where we could be ourselves. And you go to the market, there's the dollar is circulating right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of black businesses out there. I've spent hundreds of dollars easily because the quality looks good, and it's communal. So I feel just a little bit more charged up because I know that I'm giving my money to my community. It's a beautiful thing. So that's untraditional, right? In the sense that I'm not just spending money, I'm spending money in gaining community. There's a reciprocity there that doesn't just end when the money leaves my hand, um, which is not assessed in a traditional assessment of an economy. Is just like where the money's going. Okay, it's going there, it's going there. Um, Reduce cost of ownership. If we all pitch in, then I have to pitch in less. You know what I mean? Uh, that's just basic economics right there. And so the value can be more easily obtained. The cost of entry is easier to enter because you have enough capital now. Like if it was owning a building, if 1,000 people own the same building, that price now is cut by that much, and then maybe you could afford to be an owner in this cooperative housing development. Just an idea. Um, it allows for more trusting relationships, a network of reciprocal and trust relationships. So, um, come on now, we can't really expect too much from our communities if we don't give to our communities, right? So we can't expect too much from those that extract from our communities because they're not giving too much to our community. So we have to find a way to prioritize these relationships that we've been building, in order to solidify that value being here long term. And then they also talk about how cooperatives address market failure. Think of all of the financial ruin that has been caused in the last, let's just think of from 2008 to now. There's been waves of economic ruin in our communities. Um, and that's just within the last, 14 years, 2 7-year cycles. We've seen at least 2 recessions. So I feel like these are the times where we have the most value in coming together because we're hurting the most. We get forgotten the most. And so during economic downturns, as you'll see time and time again, during the middle of the depression, we was working together, figuring out a way to survive. Like that is the biggest thing I've noticed out of this book is when it was the worst, we upped our investment in ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And we're the constant through all of the ups and downs of the market. We're still here, and we still have value that expands beyond any fiat value. Right? And that's the other thing. Let's talk about fiat. Fiat is a money system that only operates because there is enough belief in that money system for it to operate. Right? So the key thing is belief. We believe the dollar is valuable for the most part. That's why it's valuable. We don't have a gold standard anymore. We left that in the 70s, right? So I believe it was Richard Nixon that took us off the gold standard. So if we're not based on a gold standard, we're literally saying because America has the biggest army and because we have the most influence in the country, which is debatable as time goes on, um, our dollar is worth what we say it is. Um, but inflation is attacking that reality. Technology is attacking that reality because other superpowers are getting more technologically advanced and debatably have stronger armies in some regard. So, what do we have faith in? And I think us returning our faith to our communities is is a power move. Is any of this resonating with folks? I see folks in the chat in the Zoom. I see Brother Touch said investment spending with the intent of seeing a return, i.e., culturally the community supporting local business. Oh, you talking about ROIs? You know what I'm saying? So if I put my money into a stock, I expect my ROI to be whatever the dividend tells me the dividend is. But if I invest in my community, my ROI is not going to look like. Well, I won't say it won't look like a dollar amount, but I should expect that to do more than just give me a dollar amount, unless that's the contract. If we're in a susu and I'm putting my money into a susu, I might expect to get a dollar amount at a particular month as a payout. But aside from that, if I invest in my friend's business, I want their business to succeed, because if they succeed, that means they have more capital to put back into the community. That means safer communities. That means more educated children. That means, cleaner streets. Things that are not necessarily quantifiable by cash, right? These are things that are very intangible at times, but when they're not there, it's very obvious that they're not there, and then we lose things like sleep. You know what I'm saying? We lose things like peace of mind. Market failure. How Raquel says market failure. How capitalism addressed the pandemic, profiting off of it, not sustaining people's health. I mean, that's a very deep subject right there, because who I see benefiting from the pandemic is the pharmaceutical industries. Now, I don't want to get into the vax and the anti-vax, but the fact of the matter is, they saw big checks from the government because of this situation. That we've had other outbreaks that have not reached this level of response from the government. And it's very I give it the side eye, because we've been through the H1N1, the Ebola, these different things that didn't warrant all of this, but this did. And it's just very interesting. And so we know that billions was given, money was exchanged hands in multiple ways to the pharmaceutical industries, bailouts, all kind of things that did not touch the common man. Um, let's see. We also value the dollar via oil. That's true. Thank you, Mama Mia. Uh, OPEC keeps dollar high because they only trade with the dollar. Oh, wow. So when you say OPEC, I would imagine you're talking about the oil industry, right, Mama Mia? And
Yes.
that's wars have been fought over oil, right? Like when we think of our whole time in the Middle East, we pulled out, to save face, or for whatever reason they said. But at the end of the day, I think that we were over there at first because of oil and our influence. We use our influence selectively. We say that we want to help other countries, but our help comes with a dollar price. You know what I'm saying? It's like a loan shark. Like, oh, you need some money? All right, cool. Here's $2,000, but you gotta pay me back 10 next week. Like, what? That don't help me at all. So somebody in the chat on Insta said, could you address the issue of us being consumers and not producers? Um, yeah, I think that's part of the ROI, right? Of developing and investing in your community. You support those, like you're literally rewarding those who are choosing to go a route of fulfilling a need in their community that was not being met, or you're literally rewarding small businesses which help feed communities. You're rewarding this thought pattern, and if you do that, then you can see more of it, because people see, oh, I can win doing this, and so I think being producers can set off a wave and momentum of creating more producers if we support each other in doing that. Because our buying power in our communities is baffling sometimes. I'm like, oh wow, like we touch bags, and we think that we don't, or we operate with a mentality as if we don't, but we have so much power. Brother Tut said, hey, the crystal and bike business doing numbers too since this pandemic. So I mean, hey, right. During the downturns, people, during this pandemic, people have been in the house, meditating and exercising more. You know what I'm saying? So you can hop on your bike and you ain't got to worry about being in nobody's face. You just riding your bike. You got your crystals, you in the house meditating, You're not exchanging, germs. So people, I could imagine, have been tapping into their self care through this time, and that's a beautiful thing. Natalie said we consume each other and the planet close to a point of no return. Extraction with no reciprocity. We extract from the earth without giving back to it. We extract from our families oftentimes an autopilot, right? We assume that they're gonna be there all the time. We don't give our time as much as we should. Um, it gets deep. It gets deep. So I appreciate you saying that, Natalie. And Brother Tess says you're getting deep now. That's right. Breath is the great equalizer. Because at the end of the day, you hope to be here as long as you can, um, but you don't know. So we definitely, time is the biggest. That's the most valuable thing that we have, and we have to be careful about where we give that time to. And I think this pandemic has reminded a lot of people of what is important to them and where they want to put their time. And technology is allowing a lot of people to work from home and to do these things. And so, I think that's something to embrace to a degree. Like, how do we utilize these shifts to better to take full advantage of them to keep our peace? So, yeah. And then Zarina, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Create. Oh yeah, Z. What's up with it? Create your own time to get things done. And then Natalie says, brand cooperation. Oh, okay, is that like you're saying that as a verb, like let's brand it, or
No, I'm saying it like as you feel me. You saying like how shit. I mean, stuff get my bad. Excuse my language. Get right, like how hard times. You feel me? You can step out the box and create your own.
Oh
You
no,
know
no,
what I'm
I
saying?
got what you were saying.
Oh,
Thank you for that clarity. But I was
oh, okay.
asking Natalie,
Oh,
what
my
did
bad.
you mean by brand cooperation? Did you mean like as a verb to do, or like what did you mean?
I was just vibing off of Z, who was mentioning build your brand. So we got to just brand it as cooperation.
Mm,
Yeah,
I like that. I like
that's
that.
Yeah,
dope.
I like what she was saying.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what do we celebrate? What is our cultural icons really? Like, what do we put on the pedestal? I feel like in this consumer society, we put celebrities on pedestals who put things on pedestals. But what if we put concepts on pedestals and put the people that represent those concepts on pedestals to a degree? Like,
Yeah,
we're
that's
all
what I'm saying.
human.
Like you gotta create your own. Like how celebrities have their own, or Nike. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I could create mine as Z so and so. You feel me?
One of
It's
my one of my favorite rappers, J.
yeah,
Cole, said the age of the celebrity is dying, and that he predicts, I don't know what
yeah.
year, but 100 years from now, celebrities
I
won't
agree
be
with
as
that.
important. And I think there's something to that, right? Because we have these social media outlets, and now you can create your brand and have an effective impact on your community or the community, right? Because it's the worldwide community just from your phone, and you could be a
Anything,
celebrity now.
anything that you do, you carry yourself as Ajiman. That's your brand. You're your own. You're
Right.
your own billboard. I carry myself as Z Cuts or Z the Barber. You know what I'm saying? But it's more to it. You know what I'm saying?
Man, so we going so deep right now. I appreciate y'all. The advantages of cooperatives. Keep that in your mind. Let's keep building on that.
Mm-hmm.
We had
I'm
time.
gonna write that down.
Yeah, yeah. And if after you write that down and you come up with something, you want to bring it up tomorrow, it's
Yep.
all good. Or if you want to message us like, hey, y'all should do a post about this. We are opening the community to give us suggestions as well. Um, Brother Ted, do you have any last words for the people?
That was it. I'd like to leave it open from somebody from the work-based learning program that want to close us out. That was great, though, Oz. Zia, anybody?
What's up?
Shayara?
Okay.
Dre?
Oh, you closing?
Let Shayara go. Yeah,
Okay.
Shayara got it. Thank you, sir.
My question would be like,
how we have our own brands, how do we bring ourselves individually back to cooperation and working together cooperatively?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great question.
That's
Yeah, that's great.
you basically have to just as answer to that, just stand on your own, or you ask for help, or come up with your own ideas, write it. When I studied all night. I barely got sleep because I was doing homework on my own off this book. Like, I even posted on Instagram, y'all need to check this out. That's how juice I am. But it's really just stepping out your box and just doing your own research, to me.
Yeah, and also do what Z said, but when you come together, like what we did with Repair Nations, we organized under one specific goal, which is educating and cooperation. And if you look at Repair Nations framework, it's a lot of businesses. It's a lot of separate artist businesses. But when we come together under Repair Nations, we have that one goal, of education and cooperation. So I think just finding people that you can find a common goal for with and a common purpose, and make that be y'all organizing center. Make that be the business. Make that be
Yeah, that's
the
what I was saying.
cooperative. And y'all working push towards that goal or that purpose. So, and I think it's easier to find more people to align with your purpose than it is just to align with your business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Find the purpose, and then the business will manifest itself.
Find a purpose and the business will manifest itself. That's a good one to end on. So, yo, keep them gears working in your minds. Hope to see y'all tomorrow. Same black time, same black channel. Peace, y'all.
All right, y'all. I'm out.
Adios.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Take care. But yeah, that purpose, you should put that on Instagram.
We got you.
Find the
Yeah, wait, say
purpose.
that one more time. You say your purpose should be your business, brother
Find
Tut?
your purpose, and the business will manifest.
Find
Yeah.
your purpose.
There
That's
you
a
go.
good one.
All right, y'all. Take care.
All right,
Peace.
yeah. Okay.